group stage of the Season 3 World Championship. The undefeated OMG is getting ready to dive back into the rift down on the stage. But up here, I'm happy to be joined by SK Telecom T1's Bengi. Welcome to the interview lounge. And I want to ask you about your Aatrox pick. It's the first time that you've played him competitively. What are kind of your impressions of him?
안녕하세요, 뱅기 선수. 그 인터뷰 라운지에 오신 걸 환영하고요. 첫 번째로 아트록스 픽에 대해서 얘기를 하고 싶은데요. 공식 경기에서 이번이 아트록스가 처음이시죠?
네, 아트록스는 처음 했는데 일단 그 북미 솔랭에서 처음 시작하게 됐고 좀 열심히 하다 보니까 대회에서도 쓰게 됐어요.
Yeah, I picked Aatrox and I started playing him a lot in North American live server when I came here. I started using him and I liked him, so that's why I ended up picking him.
Okay, now you guys are already through to the quarterfinals, of course, and later we're going to have a drawing who you're going to be up against. Do you have any preference who you want to play and why?
이제 8강 진출이 확정돼서 좀 있으면 8강 이제 대진표를 추첨하게 되는데요. 8강에서 만나고 싶은 상대 팀이 있으신가요?
일단 감마베어스를 좀 좋아해요. 그 아이콘이 좀 귀여워가지고. 그리고 C9을 만나고 싶어요. 그 메테오스라는 정글러가 그 유명하시더라고요. 그래서 한번 만나보고 싶습니다.
First off, I want to meet Gamma Bears because I like their icon. I think the icon is kind of cute, and I also want to play Cloud9. I heard that their jungler is pretty famous and pretty good, so I want to play against him.
All right, that would indeed be a very cool matchup. Then finally, got a day's rest now before heading into those quarterfinals, but I imagine it won't be rest. What's the preparation look like? What do you look to improve on?
이제 8강 그 경기를 곧 있으면 시작하시게 되는데 8강 진출 전에 뭔가 준비를 하실 게 있으시면 어떤 준비를 하실 생각이신지요?
아직은 그 일정이 너무 짧아서 특별한 건 준비할지는 잘 모르겠고 일단 해봐야 할 것 같아요.
The schedule's kind of tight, so I'm not sure if we can, get something new going. But we're gonna try practice hard and get ready for the quarterfinals.
Okay, looking forward to it. Thank you very much. All right, that does it for me up here in the interview lounge. Now let's send it back across the sea of fans to D-Man and Jat at the caster desk.
Thank you very much, Shox. It is indeed time for our 9th match of the day. It is China's OMG versus Europe's Lemon Dogs.
Yeah, and in this one, OMG is going to be trying to hold on to their perfect group stage record. You know, the first game between these teams was actually very close. But the mindset of the teams coming into the rematch is obviously going to be a lot different because Lemon Dogs have already been eliminated here. OMG is going for the big stuff. And actually in the last game, we have to mention before we get into picks and bans, Lemon Dogs is down 1 ban this game because they talked during the pause in the previous game.
Yeah, indeed. We'll see how that works out for them. Seemed to work in Fnatic's favor, actually.
They used it pretty smartly. They managed to get Zed and Kasten out of the equation. That's not bad.
It did work very well. So while most of the people in the world didn't realize just how strong OMG was coming into this tournament, San and his team are finally ready to flex their muscle on the world stage.
S3不愧是最权威的一个赛事，非常高兴和激动嘛，因为有机会向全世界展出我们战队自己的风采嘛。就是希望大家多多关注中国的战队，因为中国战队有很多嘛，但是名额却只有2个。好像其他国家都知道我们吧，我有了解到，也了解的不是很多。我们跟传统的中国战队是不一样的，我们是风格会比较快，我们会随时应变，就是随时都会换打法。我们没有想到具体的，都是一视同仁。我们中国队很有信心，就是中国的粉丝们拭目以待吧，不会让你们失望的。一个队伍比较环环相扣，所以我也说不出来谁是最好的。
跟队友在一起，肯定比一个人有时候要好得多嘛。毕竟朋友就多一个氛围啊什么的。然后
感觉就是很和谐，因为每天睡醒都有5个人陪你一起训练，跟你一起努力的去奋斗。这样我觉得在这条路上不会孤单，会有很多回忆。就这么多人嘛，然后我们去坐饮料车，然后有的人他就会 走的就是在我们前面，然后他就会抢那个前面的那个座位，然后后到的呢就只能够坐几个人挤后面。
然后对粉丝的话，谢谢粉丝的支持吧，因为我们是起初就是不是很被人看好，然后到现在取得了一个进资格赛的进 S3的资格赛，所以我觉得应该把握好这次机会。
充分的信心吧，我觉得影响也是好的影响吧。
但是也还是没有太大把握，但是我的话就会还是比较平稳。
我觉得每个队都有可能吧，但是我觉得应该对自己有点自信，所以我觉得我们吧，
不管成绩怎么样吧，什么结果都有可能。
So finally, it's time to be cocky. Time to feel a little bit confident. That's the danger.
Well, the interesting thing about that is I was actually talking to Kobe a bit about their play style yesterday and how much he loves Loveland because he says he doesn't have any consistent patterns. And it syncs up with what they were saying in that video, how they play fast and aggressive, but mostly that they improvise a lot, which makes them incredibly dangerous to themselves and to enemies.
Yeah, they are very aggressive, the Chinese teams, and we're going to be seeing the exact same from Royal Club when the quarterfinals get underway, just how aggressive those teams can be. But for now, let's check out those starting lineups. In the blue corner, it is going to be OMG. Going that top laner, Lovelin in the jungle, Cool in the mid lane, San, the AD carry and leading KDA man, I believe, and Big Pamelo as support.
And on the red side, it is Lemon Dogs coming off that win against Team Solo mid. 0-0 in the top lane, Dexter in the jungle, Nuke Duck in mid lane, Tabs on AD, and Mithy on support.
So, what are we expecting from these teams? Are we going to see something fast and furious from OMG? Or are Lemon Dogs going to be able to slam on the brakes for the Chinese and maybe take away that perfect record?
I heard once that nothing is faster than a Lemon Dog. So we'll have to see if that works out. That doesn't make any sense.
Does not make any sense at all. I don't know where that comes from. Nevertheless, the picks and bans are underway. So let's see if the two ninjas get taken out of the game early on. And that is, of course, Zed and Shen. Well, I guess for an American, it could be Z.
Z? Yeah, it's not a zebra. It's a zebra. Get it straight.
Tomato, tomato. But right now, it is going to be Elise actually taken away from the Lemon Dog. So respect ban taking it away from Dexter there.
Oh, these teams are going to be going fairly serious, I think. I don't think OMG is taking this lightly whatsoever. The Chinese teams are very serious about their execution. It's eat, sleep, and play. All the OMG guys, the only thing that has actually been coming out of all their Chinese Twitter accounts are pictures of them sleeping here at the studio because they were just playing and in between games they're taking a rest and they're getting up and practicing again. They brought a bunch of food as well, just so they would make sure they had the right food they wanted to eat, and that's all they've been doing. So I don't think they'd be messing around in this game because they're here to play.
Well, of course, that first ban being passed by Lemon Dogs, so they're not able to use that one. They do only have 2 bans, so that means, of course, that's why you see that second corner blank. Fizz will be taken away from Nuke Duck, and you see the nodding from Lemon Dogs. Actually, Nuke Duck doesn't look too happy about that.
It's like, really wanted to play Fizz against Cool. I know Cool had played against a lot of White's Fizz, who is going to be the mid laner for Royal, who we're going to get to see in the quarterfinal. Didn't work out very well for him, so I can definitely understand that ban.
Well, Zed was taken away, so we're not going to see Cool running around the jungle or the mid lane everywhere. In fact, everywhere, to be honest. If you see any of his highlight videos, he does cover it. There's the second ninja, of course. Shen being taken away, which means Ari may well be the next ban.
You're good at this.
Right on score. It's almost like we've seen a couple of these games before.
Well, here we go. What's going to be the first pick here for OMG? Jarvan or... No. No, you know what? Loveland plays too many different things now.
I reckon he may go Aatrox. Something crazy like that. Maybe just switch it up a little bit. Lee Sin, maybe? Yes.
Lee Sin.
Just a split second too late on that call. I was thinking Dexter, the other thing he plays is Lee Sin, and of course, that is what Loveland plays. No, don't do that.
They are the jungle
They play
Yorick
jungle
team.
I know they are, but I don't want to see a jungle Yorick. I'd like to see a Veigar. That would be awesome.
Our first pick, Veigar.
That would be a little
cocky.
Little foolish as well. Holy cow, they've got it done it.
Well, the time has come for them.
To be a little cocky.
Yep. So they have clinched, obviously. If Lemon Dogs wins this one, it means Lemon Dogs finishes third, which doesn't move them onto the group, but it does guarantee them third.
It also stretches that champion pool out a little bit further. It's definitely started to expand today. Ezreal may get picked up by Tabs here. Caitlyn is available, has been a
Who
champion.
picks
He's
Veigar
confident.
first?
I don't know.
Yeah. Go going
Maybe,
does, I suppose.
maybe no Jackie.
Not Jackie, but first? Like all the things you want to first
That
pick.
could be a support Veigar.
All right, sure. I'll roll with it.
You'll just roll with it. We'll see. It's effectively doing the same thing as an Annie, not quite with the same burst damage. We do see Vi already locked in, along with Ezreal though. So standard stuff from Lemon Dogs. They want the win.
Yeah. OMG, they want something else entirely right now. Probably a win, but most likely some champion diversity coming in. I know that Zitai, the mid laner for IG, was known for his incredibly diverse champion pool, and IG's been a little bit dethroned along with Team WE by OMG and Royal, who are here at this World Championship. The Jungle York complements Veigar very well because you trap the enemy inside the stun cage so the ghouls can beat on them, and it's usually incredibly effective. Additionally, the Nidalee spears can hit the stunned target from the Veigar stun, so it's all coming together.
We're seeing a whole plethora of champions coming out from OMG that haven't really been used in the same combined force, and right now it seems that they're definitely going to be throwing Lemon Dogs off track, but instead Lemon Dogs are saying no, stick to the ball game, guys, get Zoro back on Renekton.
Hey, when all is said and done, and we're looking back on this a year ago, and people look, who was the only team to beat OMG in the group stage?
Yes.
It would still count for Lemon Dogs. So they definitely want to pick up this win. They want to end the World Championships on a very positive note.
Let's not forget, it also would keep them above TSM.
Yes, that's actually very important for them.
Yeah, and it's very important. There's money at stake, there's pride at stake, and of course, you know, taking away one of those teams that potentially could go on and win the tournament. That's, of course, we could say, well, we're the only guys that beat them in the group stage. Zyra being locked in as well. So Zyra, Ezreal for Mithy and Tabs.
So Lemon Dogs will probably be picking an assassin with that last pick, maybe even a Kassadin. I feel like the Kassadin would work very well. See, at this point, they should just lock it in.
They're just like, pick it.
I don't see any reason why they wouldn't.
I think they are. I think they are actually going to lock it in.
Yeah, they should go Maokai Darius bot lane. I've actually ran a
AD
fair bit of
Maokai?
that. No, support Maokai,
Support
actually. Because he's the person who, he actually does a lot of damage. You'd be very surprised at how much damage support Maokai can do. But specifically bottom lane Darius. Something to be reckoned with.
Oh, Cassiopeia locked in. We just don't know what's coming here. OMG are definitely going to be having fun with this game. Fiora being selected now. I just don't know anymore.
No, neither do I.
No.
What are they? We're gonna.
That would be the first standard champion of the tournament for them.
So we're gonna go down these lanes now.
Wow, there it is. So there's no ranged AD carry unless it's going to be Nidalee. Nidalee is going to be the AD carry. This is actually Hosan's done the same.
How do you know if Nidalee's AD carry?
Well, it could be AP.
What if Aatrox is the AD carry? He has attacks.
I'm going to go with Veigar support, Cassiopeia in the mid, Aatrox.
I was gonna say Cassie mid,
Aatrox
Nidalee
top.
support, Aatrox AD.
Maybe.
What are they?
But look at Lemon Dogs. They've gone for the double AD. And I forgot about this. Nuke Dog does play Ezreal in that mid.
Yeah. I'm not as interested in that though. I'm more interested in OMG's team composition.
Okay, break it down for us, Jack. Gonna put you on the spot right now.
All right.
Check out these team comps.
You called it from the very start. Big Pomelo is on the support Veigar, and that is only to set up the rest of OMG's team composition. They are going to trap Lemon Dogs in an area of unpassable terrain, known as
You could say
the
they're gonna
Event
cage them.
Horizon. It's the Event Horizon, actually.
Okay.
And then the rest of OMG is going to combo on their normally hard-to-land skill shots to these stunned targets. Everyone's going to dive in.
It's going to be a dog pile, I believe is the phrase that you
Yes.
like to use. But nevertheless, let's check out what you guys at home have been voting. According to lolesports.com, 81% of you have gone with the analysis guys and gone for OMG. So can they stay perfect for the Worlds? It's going to be an interesting one.
I bet they didn't see that support Veigar coming.
I bet nobody saw it coming.
No.
No.
No. Okay. So this is something new for us.
You're excited
We were
for this.
hoping-
I can see
Thing
it in
is,
your
we're
eyes.
thinking-
There's a little glint right there.
We were thinking that something like this might happen in the Gaming Gear game, but it didn't.
No.
SK Telecom was very taking care of business. And then we're thinking with the Chinese team in OMG, all the food they brought over, all the time they're practicing. It's like there's no way they would be the ones to pull out something crazy.
Well, they said it in the video. Maybe it's a time to get cocky.
Absolutely.
And this could well be it. Let's see if they can do it in style, ladies and gentlemen, because we are getting underway for the 9th match of the day. It is OMG versus the Lemon Dogs. And we'll see, can the Lemon Dogs break that perfect record? Or will OMG, with their surprising team comp, I'm interested to see what the analysis guys have to say about this team comp as well, because
I want to hear him break it down.
I want to see them break this one down.
Yeah. I know that Loveland's Jungle York is actually something he's done a lot of, and I know the top lane Aatrox is a very real thing. Ooh. See you later, Ward.
No
Get
Ward for you. Puts a second and a third one in there just to say, screw you guys. See if you can take those all out.
They don't even have a pink ward.
Nope.
To counter it.
Don't need it.
No, Veigar doesn't need pinks.
So, big Pamelo on Veigar. Cool is indeed on Cassiopeia, as you can see. Going on Aatrox. Loveland in the jungle. That's definitely something we've seen before. And San on Nidalee as their 80 carry stroke AP. We'll see how this one works out. That's actually something we've seen in the European LCS. We saw Hosan running it in the spring split.
We did, and it actually worked out very well for Hosan.
Yes, it did. Yeah.
It was, didn't he go AP in Italy and then poke with it later?
He did, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And the big thing that is actually kind of striking in this team composition is the rest of OMG, like the top lane, the mid lane, and the jungle, are all very formidable picks. Cassiopeia is an incredibly aggressive laner early on.
Uh-oh. That's foolish. I feel that's a little foolish. Zora Zero would be strong here. He has got the support of San. He is going to catch that Event Horizon on him. San's going to come around as well. But this is actually going to be a 2v1 lane in that top, it seems, as the game develops. There is a potential invade coming from Lemon Dogs.
And they want to shut down this Jungle York before he gets going. Jungle York in the first place is not that powerful of a jungle, and the late invade has arrived. OMG's got to get out of there right now. Or not.
No, or not. They are going to keep him busy, though. Mithian Taps here. Nukduk has returned. Lovely taking a lot of damage now this time around. You can see he's being bullied away from this one. They're going to make him force that smite. Yeah. He does use it.
And they got a substantial amount of harass. What Lemon Dogs did miss out on, though, was a decent amount of experience in the lane. They have lost the first 3 minions. 2. They made it for the third minion there. But they were not able to push in early, and also it means going hadn't gotten harassed early on either.
He hadn't got going, that's for sure. Zoro Zero pressured San and Big Pamelo, which I'm never going to get that name right eventually.
Big Pomelo. Pomelo.
Pamelo.
Big Pomelo.
Yeah, I was right.
Yep.
So blue buff will go across to Loveland. That's the double buff. Let's see what he does with it. Nukduk up against Cassiopeia. Probably not a lane he was expecting. Didn't see Ocelot in the house, so he used to be his champion of choice way back when. But we haven't really seen a great deal of Cassiopeia, if at all. I'm trying to think back through spring or summer.
It has been a very long time. There was a Cassiopeia game that Chuper of Complexity played in the spring split that was not very effective. But we have seen it in Season 3.
Well, we'll see how it does against the Ezreal in that mid, and we'll see how he builds Ezreal, actually. Nukduk, who's obviously been used to playing Assassin, so he's doing something different around. Nukduk has played Ezreal a number of times before, so it's not something he is alien to. Don't forget, Lemon Dogs, they want a victory here. They want to take that win. How good would it be to take it off OMG, no matter what champions were played?
Hey, and like I said, the Aatrox, Yorick, Cassiopeia are the regular picks, in a sense. Cassiopeia is a very legitimate mid pick. The big Pomelo, San, Nidalee, Veigar 2v1, that's the curveball that they're throwing at us right now.
Dexter coming in, of course. He has played Vi a number of times before. Good damage onto Nukduk in this mid lane from Cool so far. Let's not forget, Cassiopeia is a fantastic farmer. Will shove that lane, whether she wants to or not.
Yeah, and especially once Cool gets a little bit of AP, it'll be very hard for Nukduk to counter back against that.
Exhaust use on the bottom. They dive on towards it. Could it be first blood here on Mithy? Loveland thought about going deep on that one. The Ghoul's not quite enough. The Ignite's ticking. No! He survives. 31 hit points. He had it covered.
And the way Loveland plays Jungle York is not so much as a jungler as just a roaming jerk, almost. If you can imagine a blue buff Yorick in a lane, he's already very annoying to lane against without the blue buff when he has mana problems. He doesn't have mana problems in this, so he actually just runs from top to mid, or top to bottom, harassing as much as possible and pushing people out of lane.
Tabs 90 caliber netting out of this one. They're going for Big Pamelo, and they're going to try and get the lockdown on him. They do get the ignite, but the Event Horizon locked them down once again. San, not flustered by this, continues to keep those spears flying.
Yeah, that Nidalee is actually working out better than the Tabs lane right now. If we look at the farm, 34-21, mainly because Loveland has had such a larger influence on that lane than Dexter's Vi has against the Veigar and the Nidalee.
Cool, continuing to keep pressure, but it's all about this bottom lane. Look at this, they've been farming between the lanes the entire time. Loveland and Go and effectively using themselves as a 2v2 lane. Loveland, like you mentioned, just being a gigantic pain in the rear of Lemondogs. Now they've pulled in a third member. They can see if they can bait it in. They're going to go in there. It is actually Go in. They're going to bait out. He has got his passive available. Dexter will manage to get the last hit down. There he goes, slammed on. The rest of Lemondogs will close in. Will he be able to get away from this one? Go going to get locked up. There's the Piltover Peacemaker, but unfortunately, it is Mithy that picks up first blood.
And a nice counter gank there. You could see Loveland actually became a little bit predictable there against Lemondogs because he was very obviously sticking around. Dexter trying to make it 2 for 2.
Dexter is coming around on towards Cool. Can they collapse on towards him? You can see Nuke trying to get in position. They really are very scared of pulling that snake by the tail.
Yeah, the level 6 Cassiopeia is a formidable foe in that mid lane, especially if she can get into a brush, because it is so unsafe to face check against her Petrifying Gaze. I always compared Cassiopeia to almost like a turret of magical damage. More damage than Ryze does when she's standing there and fighting, but less reliable. As soon as you let her stun you with the ultimate, you're basically dead.
It's a great lockup once again on Zora Zero, forcing him out of lane. We are seeing that top turret being taken down very heavily here by OMG. Don't forget that bottom turret. They were farming between the lanes. There was a lot of damage and pressure put on there by Going and Loveland as well. So despite these interesting team comps, we are seeing the gold advantage for Lemondogs. Big Pamelo wants to get the finish. Oh, that spear just missing out on Zora Zero.
That was almost the synergy right there. They had the stun from the Event Horizon, but he didn't have enough ranks in it to stun him long enough for the Javelin toss to take down. But also, San is maxing his heal on Nidalee as well. So that's the way they're kind of trying to sustain around in that lane. And I feel like they want to dodge out of this Caitlyn lane as much as possible based on the matchup. But the experience is actually telling me they might stay in it, only because Loveland spent so much time in that bottom lane, and Tabs and Mithy are only level 4 compared to San and Big Pomelo, who are level 5.
Well, the one big pressure, of course, with that double AD comp is they need to get going, and at the moment, it's not working out. OMG keeping that pressure down on them, and every time you can see the lanes, where is Loveland going? He's getting around the back side of Zora Zero. He could be in trouble in this bottom lane.
I wonder how effective the Yorick gank actually is in this situation, because he's actually walking through a ward. Going is going to close in. Don't stick around, Loveland. They're going for a fight.
Zora Zero's going to get that slice onto Loveland, though. He will get the dice across the trees, and he will escape to victory. No problem there. Meanwhile, we do see the lane switches around. It's going to be a 2v2 in this top lane.
That's generally what you expect from a Yorick gank as well. Now we might see a delayed invade coming in from Loveland and Going, trying to get this blue buff back. And if they can actually get a blue buff onto Cool, it will be such a huge detriment to Nuke in that lane. They do pass it over successfully for Cool. Now Going actually hops onto Dexter, gets him low. Loveland flying in as well. I think they're going to get this one, D-Man. Going, can he get the kill?
He does get the kill. It's going to be Going on towards Zora Zero now. Can he get focused down? He does get slowed. Nuke in pressure at the side there. Cool putting the poison down. Zora Zero gets back into the turret. Is it too deep for Going? I believe it is, but you can see the ghouls come out. It's a little bit too late. Doesn't matter. It will be a trade. But it's a 2-for-1 to OMG.
It's a trade in deaths, but it's not an even trade in actual map pressure, because OMG got a whole bunch of power. They stole the blue buff onto Cool. Cool is probably going to have a dominating advantage over Nuke in that mid lane when they return.
We do see Tabs very low in the top lane, as well as Sam. Pressure all across the map so far. It is 12k to 10.5, and it's actually OMG with that lead, remember. They've taken that bottom turret down. Pressure's still on the top. But we just saw Cool. He was so aggressive on towards Nuke there. Caught him out by off guard.
Yeah, Cassiopeia loves to be a little bit aggressive. Oftentimes, Cassiopeia, as a random aside, was actually my second most played champion in Season 1.
Wow.
Because I love Cassiopeia.
I love him.
She's like my favorite, before I found Victor.
Before you found Udyr.
He's my favorite mid player. Well, I'm talking about mid laners right here. Udyr has always been true for me. But really, Cassiopeia, Cool's actually doing what I did as well. He's maxing Q instead of E on Cassiopeia, because against Ezreal, once you land the 1Q, that's effectively enough, and then you're going to tick him out.
Exactly.
Yeah. Ezreal can escape the E-spam that most Cassiopeia mids used to rely on, but every time Cool lands a Q, it's going to be about a third of Nuke Duck's health, so he just has to land a couple, and he crushes him right out of the lane.
Those Twin Fangs just sinking in, and that's going to be potentially the second turret of the game on OMG. And despite the fact they're playing unconventional champions, they're playing exactly like they do with main ones and keeping that pressure on. Third tower of the game goes down. All of the outers now out of it. Crazy stuff from OMG.
And I think they're going to be opening up a bit of a... I'm just going to invent a team comp right now, a poke dive comp. Because with the AP Nidalee and the Cassiopeia plus Yorick, they have an immense amount of ranged poke damage. You can see San already going Tear the Goddess, and Sorcerer's Shoe is going to try to land some long-range spears when he gets a few ranks in that. But because Cassiopeia has that flash-in potential with Petrifying Gaze, they might go for a dive comp in with Aatrox once they get a little bit of poke damage down.
Assault and Battery on Go-Going may have gone a little too deep for that one, Dexter, but he does get the kill. Loveling's going to be focused on. He's going to get caught down. Nuke Duck comes in on towards that ghost of Go-Going. Now he's going to get focused down. Ooh. Fantastic stuff. Dexter taken so low. That ghost almost manages to get himself a kill. There's a 2-for-0 trade. 2
great kills picked up by Lemon Dogs, and they really need it because we just look at the gold difference right now. 3,000 still. 2,250 of that is because 3 turrets have already went down for OMG. Lemon Dogs, with their slower style of play, is just not able to keep up with all of the lane pressure and aggression that comes out from this first place in the group OMG team.
So Lemon Dogs, they need to get themselves a turret sooner or later because the pressure keep being applied. Is all on them. San may get caught out here, but look at that. Nuke Duck wanted to join the party, but Big Pamelo was not falling for it. Dexter hasn't got that Assault and Battery available, but he does put a lot of pressure down. Cool is there to cover them off. Stranglethorns get thrown out. Big Pamelo will get taken down. Dexter picks up the kill.
That was not the most impressive burst rotation from the support Veigar. He took down about a third of the health, and then he got chased down for death right now. Lemon Dogs is trying to exploit OMG's weakness here, not having a real AD carry, not having a conventional support for peeling, and with the Dragon up, we could see some fighting over this next objective.
And you see Lemon Dogs moving around there. They have got ward coverage. Nuke Duck, though, is not quite with the party, and while this is all happening, Go-Going is just continuing to shove on that top lane. Zoro will be coming across to deal with him. No passive available for him just yet, but he's going to be doing a lot of damage. You can see he's gone that damage Hydra build.
Yeah, that is a favorite of many top lane Aatroxes, at least recently. Not as much in competitive, but we've definitely been seeing an increase of it in general popularity. He's going to be a pain to deal with because he instantly shoves waves and will always require a friend to go up there. Zoro nicely, though, getting both of those double goals.
Keeping the pressure down. Tabs trying to push this bottom. San still in there, doing a fantastic job, I might add, in terms of keeping the CS. Look at it, 115 to 86 of Tabs.
Yeah, and so much of that I really feel has to do with what Loveland did to Tabs and Mithy at the start of the game with his jungle Yorick, or rather just, I'm just going to call him blue buff roaming Yorick, just sitting around in that lane and being a pain.
A pain is what he is being. Lemon Dogs, though, have 5 members grouped up in this mid lane, and they do know that OMG are around the side here. They may try and cut them off here. You see Mithy trying to get down there, thinking of going for the grasping roots instead. They also have positional advantage around this mid lane. Which way will they focus? That's the question. Dexter, with that Assault and Battery, is going to go for someone. Event Horizon catches Zoro, but he does avoid the damage.
If OMG catches the right Event Horizon, they will not be afraid to have Cool flash in with Cassiopeia and land a Petrifying Gaze as well. You can see OMG aggressively trying to take away this blue buff. Lemon Dogs did get in and burn it with a smite, but that means there's no smite up for Dragon if OMG decides to go that way.
Well, OMG are all 5 members here. Pink wards and ward coverage from Lemon Dogs, actually. So San's going to keep on throwing those spears. Actually, so far, to Lemon Dogs' credit, have dodged those spears very well. They're not really getting caught out. That's going to be the Dragon, though. Lemon Dogs maybe going to focus this one.
Bursted it down. They knew there's no way Lemon Dogs could come in for a steal. And that's the objective-based play of OMG. One of the big reasons they stormed atop the Chinese scene, even though there had been a long reign of dominance by Team WE and IG, is because OMG was the first team to really embrace the objective game, and they did it better than anyone else in China.
Everybody from Lemon Dogs spreading out, backing off towards, trying to take away everything from that jungle. They realize that OMG may be going to try and move in aggressively by force. Instead, it's San left to fend off this mid lane, and Lemon Dogs actually may steal themselves a bit of a charge on this mid. There's only one member of OMG there.
Yeah, and I think this could be a point in the game where Lemon Dogs' conventionalness of their team comp actually starts working in their advantage. They have a very strong initiation if they want it. Dexter can single out someone to get destroyed by Ace in the Hole and True Shot Barrage. It would effectively destroy pretty much anyone on OMG right now, since all of them are building extremely offensive itemization.
Going goes back. Hydra completed. It's what we were expecting, and it will mean that that lane push from Going will be huge. He's going to be off on the sides, or maybe just joining the team, because if that Event Horizon lands, he gets in towards them and the team decide to go all in. That's going to be a heck of a lot of damage coming out from him.
Yeah, and San just went back, built the measures. Second, he has initiated the Soul War right now.
Well, we saw Dade with it earlier. Didn't quite work out like he planned and ended up having to sell that item.
Now, he backed out from the Soul War, but I don't feel like San's the type who backs out from wars like that.
No, indeed. We'll see if it works out for him. Infinity Edge almost completed by Tabs. Lemon Dogs pushing in towards his mid lane, and they may get it. OMG are going to start reacting to it. We do see Cool coming up from the side, and Lemon Dogs do back away from this one. They are fearful so far of OMG collapsing on them.
And it seems odd, but the fear of a Flash Event Horizon initiation from Veigar is very real. That would completely lock down Lemon Dogs if he can land it right on the edge of the stunning cage, and it would allow a full-on dive from OMG. We know OMG is all glass cannon, but that definitely means that if they get a long-duration stun on many people, they're going to die before the fight starts. That is actually a very real possibility.
The problem I see here from OMG is they've got real no siege capability. They've got the spears from San, but that is it. Whereas Nuke Duck and Tabs will wipe out those waves very, very quickly. So it's going to just keep them away from the turrets.
Yeah, that's definitely a detriment, which is why I think Going is so aggressively trying to split push with that Ravenous Hydra. He's trying to pull two people from Lemon Dogs up for him, and that would maybe allow OMG to make some other type of play. But it's not seeming to work out right now for OMG. First Spear does land them.
As I say that, they took a good chunk off that turret there. Going's taking away those raids. He has got his passive out now. And once that passive is available, I wouldn't be surprised to see him flying in there.
And Event Horizon at max rank is actually a 2.5-second stun area of effect. Veigar just never sees play, but that is the longest duration area of effect stun in League of Legends. So they might be able to get a good dive off if they get it. And you can see Lemon Dogs is actually respecting that stun potential.
Thought about going for it there, Loveland. Taken low. They're going to go aggressive. There's the Stranglethorns going down. Assault of Battery gets on towards Cool. Cool hasn't used that ultimate just yet, but Dexter does go down. And now OMG can turn this one on its head.
Well, they didn't get Cool in position to do damage, and they're so low that I think they're going to end up backing away. But getting the kill for nothing does show that they have good enough disengage potential. And the extra synergy here that we actually haven't mentioned is back in Season 2. Yorick top lane and Cassiopeia mid was a very common team composition because Cassiopeia had so much sustained damage in chase that the Yorick clone was extremely effective. They have that combo even with the Yorick jungle.
And if I do recall, actually the start of Season 3 Spring Split, that was actually one of the banned combos. Teams ran it back then, but of course teams found out how to counter it.
It's run away.
Well, Lemon Dogs weren't around back then, so maybe they're unsure other than running away, which they kind of tried to do there, but they did lose one member, and that's the downside of Assault and Battery. You kind of find yourselves pretty deep in the team, a little bit like Maokai's Twisted and Vance. Zoraziri in the top lane now, clearing those waves with that Sunfire Cape. We do see Going continuing to farm. He's going to have a lot of gold on him, I feel, because he's trying to stack up. He keeps just going back towards that top lane and shoving it in.
Yeah, 1,500 gold on Going. I wonder if he's going to continue to go Glass Cannon Aatrox or if he's going to build a bit of defensive itemization. Most of the Aatroxes I've seen will stop at that one offensive item and then start going a little bit tanky because Aatrox has pretty tremendous base damage values. Looks like OMG really loves fighting over this blue buff, and they're not letting Lemon Dogs get back their territory.
No, they can see the blue buff is going to get fought over. And it wants to be Cool that's going to take that one away. No, it won't. It was Loveland. Loveland used it, wants to get those blue ghouls going. Nuke Duck kind of trapped in there, uses the Arcane Shift to get around, and OMG continuing to push on this lane. They're not going to be afraid to dive it. Spear lands on Nuke Duck. That's going to put pressure down on towards them. OMG keep on pushing. Those ghouls, of course, going to be taking those tower hits as well, and OMG sieging down Lemon Dogs.
It really does seem like OMG is hesitant to dive, but that's because they are against a Zyra. One of the hardest champions to dive onto in a game. If OMG can somehow get Mithy out of the fight, I think they'll be more willing to dive. But as of now, since they are all squishy, unless they can guarantee a few kills coming in, they might not go. But now that Mithy's low, we could see some action.
Yeah, 3 members of Lemon Dogs already taken down by their spears. You can see Tams, Nukduk, and Mithy all low, and they're going to back away from this one. Just off the side, Go really wants to get aggressive here. He wants to dive in towards them with that passive available. True Shot Barrage not going to find its target. Big Pamelo was pretty low, so still OMG going to keep on sieging. That tower ever so slowly going down.
OMG's side lanes are pushing up pretty heavily right now, so if OMG doesn't go for that, they're losing out on a lot. I expect them, since they're staying, to dive very soon.
Ever so surely, he's going to thought about locking in. He got knocked up, actually. Dexter managing to keep going away. There's the Event Horizon going down. There goes the tower. Nukduk catches that spear, and surely enough, OMG finally take down the 4th turret of the game.
The siege comp right there coming in from OMG. I wonder if they've played this team composition before. I haven't seen it, personally. But they definitely seem to know what they're doing. It's an amazing amount of coordination considering this team comp seems so thrown together at the last minute. It's the improvisation skills of OMG, it seems, right now. Because we did say, you know, their top lane, jungle, and mid lane are things they should definitely have some comfort doing. And then they're just throwing in the bot lane that we have not seen before. And that's working out for them.
And look at San now with that Seraph's Embrace completed. Going to be pretty tanky actually for a Nidalee. And, well, Nidalee's you don't catch. He's split pushing around the side there. Zoro Zero taking very low in that mid lane. Cool, putting a lot of pressure down on towards him along with Lovelin. That really is a team comp that's starting to annoy the Lemon Dogs, I feel. And I wonder when they pick this double AD comp, whether they realize what they were going up against. Because OMG, let's not discredit this, that, you know, they've gone with something fun here. They're not actually showing their hand. I don't expect to see this coming out in the quarterfinals.
No, this is their build for the grand finals, Dino. They're going to bring it out right again. Seriously, this is improvisation.
Well.
This is an improvised team composition from OMG, but they are playing it just to fit their style of play, and it just shows how practiced OMG actually is, that it's working so well for them.
Nukduk trying to go aggressive on San there. San himself with a fantastic KDA in this tournament. Cool. Up in the top, waiting for Zoro Zero to go aggressive, coming in to see if he can keep him away, hoping that Zoro Zero will go aggressive on Going, but Cool not falling for it. Now don't forget Going, he can just pop that ultimate right now and just wreck this turret.
Thing is, Going sitting on nearly 3,000 gold, so fighting right now is not taking advantage of the gold lead that OMG has accumulated while keeping Lemon Dogs trapped in their base, but at the same time, OMG doesn't want to sacrifice the map positioning that going back would actually have. So they might actually stick around and try to get something right here.
Right on towards Dexter, taken very, very low from this one. The Ignite's not going to be enough to finish him off. Zoro Zero now with those twin fans taking on him from Cool. Going will back away. That turret not quite enough to take him down and pop that passive.
And you saw the damage that came out from Cool right at the start of that. He doesn't even have his Zonya's Hourglass yet. The Cassiopeia is getting extremely dangerous in this one, knowing that there is a Yorick clone for Cool as well.
Yeah, this could be a real problem. This is actually going to be the 5th turret of the game by OMG, and Lemon Dogs again stepping away from this one, not able to go up and fight them. Nukduk keeps trying to get aggressive on San, trying to pull him into that fight, but San's still not having it anyway. You can't catch a Nidalee.
No, you really can at this point, and it's interesting how OMG is able to set up these sieges without such strong disengage, but it's because they're getting enough poke down beforehand, and Cassiopeia alone is enough counter-initiation, I think, to scare off Lemon Dogs from really going all in. That means Dexter goes in kind of a little bit alone, they focus him down, and the rest of the team hasn't been able to follow up, as well as OMG just always being split up, as long as Lemon Dogs has a chance to initiate. It's an interesting playstyle that OMG is executing pretty well.
Okay, let's talk about the late game, because we're at 24 minutes. Lemon Dogs, we know, they like that longer game. They are falling quite heavily behind in gold. This is actually going to take it to almost an 8,000 gold differential between the two. Of course, there's 5-0 in turrets. Honestly,
San stole the dragon from his own team.
Stole it from his own team with that spear. 2 for 2 now with dragons as well. 5-0 in turrets. That bottom turret pretty damn low as well. You can see that's going to be OMG going for their next focus target. Lemon Dogs, though, have they got a bit of an advantage as the late game develops? Because Nukduk and Tabs are going to become incredibly strong.
I think if they could keep the gold close, they would have an advantage. but the gold is very quickly slipping away from them. Knowing that Lemon Dogs can't really defend any of their turrets basically tells me they're going to continue to fall behind here. I also want to point out that Going did not go for a defensive item.
Nope.
He's got a little bit more lifesteal now. Blade of the Ruined King and a Ravenous Hydra. That actually means his lifesteal sitting at 27% right now, on top of the healing that Aatrox already has. That is an annoying split pusher if I have ever seen one.
That is going to be a very annoying split pusher. Dexter is going to get those wraiths despite the fact they tried to steal him away from him. And OMG, look at this, split pushing away, going. Someone's got to deal with him. That turret's going to go down before Zoro gets there.
Yeah, I'm a little flabbergasted right now, D-Man, about the success of this OMG team composition. Unfortunately, Big Pomelo has not landed an awesome event horizon that set up the combo I wanted to see.
Look at Zoro getting chunked down in that top lane. He's had to use Dominus. Goin's going in. He's going to get the kill here. The passive will get popped though. Tabs comes in. Is it going to be getting out of tower range? No, he's not. The tower will pop back up, but he won't hit on towards him. True Shot Barrage comes across from Nuke. They will finally get Going down.
But at what cost? Let's see if OMG can catch anyone right here. Burns a flash and an arcane shift over the wall. You gotta say, Going's definitely distracting a lot of people on Lemon Dogs. He is also 80% of OMG's deaths this game.
Absolutely. 3-4-0, but he doesn't care. He's going to keep split pushing. And look at the top lane, Loveland. He's keeping shoving it in there as well. So you've got Yorick continuing to be annoying. And mid lane's getting shoved up as well because Cool on Cassiopeia will continue doing that. Lemon Dogs at the moment are finding it hard just to keep those waves from crashing on their towers.
Yeah, OMG's just a giant boa constrictor right now, just wrapping around Lemon Dogs and suffocating them inside their base. I don't see how Lemon Dogs breaks out of this because right now Lemon Dogs would want to catch a good team fight after they get a little bit of Ezreal or Caitlyn poked down. But just the power that has been loaded into the rest of OMG right now is kind of telling them they can't do that. The gold lead stretching to 9,000 seems like it's getting very close to being insurmountable.
San continues to close on the damage. Those spears are going to start hurting quite incredibly on Lemon Dogs. And let's not forget, Tabs and Nuke Duck and Mithy are all very squishy targets. So their spears, they're going to start getting to the point where they're doing over half the damage.
Yeah, and they're bursting down this Baron really quick. This isn't one of those super timed out, control the wards, make sure they don't face check Barons. They're just going for it, and it's actually throwing Lemon Dogs off guard. Here's improvisation once again from OMG. They made up their mind, they're going.
Big Pamelo's waiting with that Event Horizon, landing on towards Tabs. It's going to be too late for Lemon Dogs. They have to turn tail and run here because OMG are going to give chase. Can they lock on towards any targets? That's the question. They haven't really got anything to gap close. Going is the only man that's going to go towards it. Mithy will have to put the Stranglethorns down. He's going to go down. Sacrificial Lamb maybe. Can they get any more? Nuke Duck's going to get focused on. Lovely's managed to lock him in. Cassiopeia ultimate comes out. That's going to be, not going to land. Ace in the hole came out. Zoro trying to go towards Big Pamelo. Going at the back there. Nuke Duck with the Ignite running. He's going to go down. Going will get dropped, but the ultimate from Yorick was used from Loveland and just being the big pain that he is, keeping the damage going. Dexter trying to run away from this one. The ghouls from Loveland not going to be enough to take him down. This is a big, crazy exchange. My word. The spear and poison combined from Cool manages to pick up the kill.
Tabs thought he was so safe over top of that wall, but the surprise poke from Sans in Italy cuts through, and the Baron is still on OMG. There's the stun.
Nuke Duck gets caught out there. The Twin Fangs in there. San's going to try and chase. He's going to tank up the turret just enough. Throws out the spear. Nuke Duck now going to go aggressive. He's going to try and chase on towards San. Feeling confident here. The rest of his team do come back around. They saved the inhibitor turrets and OMG's own aggression there with that Baron buff. And it backfired. They didn't really pick any objectives up.
Yeah, after they got the Baron and a couple kills, especially after they killed Tabs over the wall, OMG could have went for that middle turret, but they got a little bit distracted trying to finish off Nuke Duck. We have to watch this snipe over the wall again. Loveland helped a little bit out with York. The Miasma was sitting, so he jumped actually back into the Miasma, and it ended up granting Cool the kill.
Well, we do see OMG stepping back and clearing out those giant waves. Lemon Dogs, they're going to get themselves the first turret of the game. It will be the mid lane. They're going to get straight in there. That top turret also taken low, but not low enough. It will be saved by Loveland. There it is, the first turret of the game for the Lemon Dogs. There's a lot of gold out there from to claiming those turrets, but they can't get near it because OMG continue to be aggressive. Zoro, the tankiest member of the team, getting chunked down there by Going.
I never really thought I would see a competitive glass cannon Aatrox in a game. Goin's doing a pretty good job of it. Specifically in this team composition where everyone is a glass cannon and they have the Yorick cloning capabilities, he is the AD carry, effectively, in this game. They have just swapped the early laning positions to fit, and then transitioned into having a melee AD carry instead of a ranged one. And in that sense, they just have a poke competition.
Oh, two-shot barrage, got it. Nuke Duck stole it. That's a plus in the books for Lemon Dogs. They are still 12,000 gold behind. Let's not get carried away here. Dragon will be up in 5 seconds' time. I think Going could take that one himself, no problem, because he's wiping that wave out in a matter of seconds. 100 CS advantage over Zoro Zero right now. Zoro Zero not really even close to being tanky enough to fight these teams.
No, and I don't know if he's going to get to that point. I feel like Gogon is just going to go for a Bloodthirster after this one. I think a Last Whisper would serve him better. That's not as stylish. So at this point on Aatrox, he really wants to just max out his lifesteal to get as much sustain off mini waves as possible. And we're into this game again. I wonder if Lemon Dogs is going to be able to stay safe over the wall, or if Gogon is going to try to burst down. Thing is, if a mini wave pushes back, he's healing up in 2 hits.
Well, you see Gogon, but that's something that needs to be careful of. He will have his passive, but Muruman has been completed by Nuke Duck now, along with that Trinity Force. He's going to be doing a lot of damage if he can get onto someone.
And the fact that he stole that blue buff, it means he's completely safe. But that was 1 spear.
That was 1 spear.
2 is death.
He's got the Rabadon's death cap now, so he's got that completed Source Boots. He's had that Soul Steal for a long time. He's only got 2 assists since he's had that Soul Steal, so not really stacking it out just yet. Gogon getting caught out there. Event Horizon does come down. We do see the ultimate. Oh, look at Tabs took a tower hit there once again. Assault battery on towards Lovelin. No focus targets here from Lemon Dogs though, and they're forced to back away. Both teams get a siege out, but the spear manages to find its home, and Dexter goes down.
Right in the back right there. Dexter falls again. He's the only one able to go in at this point, and it's a poke composition by OMG being executed right now, and it's a 4v5. OMG's going to continue to poke. Stun!
You can't get out of it. Mithy, once you get caught in that Event Horizon, that spear will find its target. Going, taking that front-loaded damage. Ace in the hole's only going to hit 1 target, but there's the first inhibitor turret of the game going down. OMG continue the slow, grinding push with those spears.
And this is looking a little bit frustrating for Lemon Dogs because they just can't touch OMG right now. It's a very low kill game, which is not typically OMG's style that we've become used to, but the amount of pressure that OMG is putting on the map is very much their style. The 7 turrets to 1. This is more what OMG was doing when they first found a lot of dominance on the Chinese scene in the spring split of the LPL, and it's working very well despite the crazy, absurd, unknown picks.
Going is cleaving its way through those waves. OMG going to pick themselves up the Dragon. Another one. 32 minutes gone into this game. Going to keep that gold lead piling on this way, and OMG in full control. 3rd of 3, of course, being taken down. Going. Well, he's doing what Nuke Duck was doing in the previous game against TSM. He's laying in wait with that kill. I don't think anyone from Lemon Dogs is going to fall for that one, though. They don't want to go near him.
Why would
right
they go that far away from their base at this point? Because Lemon Dogs has basically found their new home. It is inside their inhibitor line, and it's not very safe. Gets broken into a lot. Going out into a bad neighborhood right now, especially with Gogon walking around, is not advised.
Yep, it is 9-7 in kills, but that's not really the story of this game. The story is the interesting team composition that's came out from OMG, seemingly working very, very well against Lemon Dogs' double AD poke comp, which in itself is being pressed up. And you know, we said this so many times throughout the summer when we did have this double AD comp that came out a few times, is once a double AD comp falls behind, never gets back into it.
Yeah, and that's why the analyst desk was talking earlier, specifically Monte Cristo, about late scaling double AD comps being a bit of a disaster.
Yeah.
Because you actually need to take the turret advantage early on in the game, and you need to use Caitlyn's early power and Ezreal's early ultimates to just kind of get the pressure on. They didn't do that against OMG, and it's kind of failing for them.
Well, Nuke Duck's being baited into this one. Cool is there, does manage to flash away. Can he try and turn the aggression around? No, he's going to get it hit, and that poison's just going to tick him down.
That was some confidence right there from Cool. He had the Ignite on him pre-flash that Nuke Duck went into the bush because he actually didn't have a poison ticking from a previous Cassiopeia Q, but he had him down. As long as he didn't let himself get hit for any potential lifesteal that Nuke Duck may have in his rune page, just walked away, and now they have the Baron timer with a 4v5.
Well, Morella Nomicon has been also completed by Sand, so he's just going to keep those spears flying. The cooldown there, that's going to be another Baron for OMG. Absolutely zero being done about this one by Lemon Dogs. They're just going to be held up in their base. effectively prisoners right now inside their own fountain.
17,000 gold against a support Vigar. Big Pomelo's got to be feeling happy about that one pick. I want to see more Event Horizons. I want to see the big combo come out from OMG right now because Cassiopeia's got 640 ability power. San's got 621. Aatrox has 351 attack damage as well.
Yeah, he's got that Infinity Edge now.
Yeah.
Why, I mean, why not? Just go full AD Glass Cannon.
He is the AD carry after all.
He is going to do a lot of damage if he gets jumps onto someone. And those AD carries don't have a lot of hit points, so he would just slam them down. Cool comes around the side. Used that ultimate a moment ago, but it is just back up off cooldown once again. And looks like it's going to be OMG pushing the bot lane.
And the top lane, because Going wants to have a fight with 0-0, and the rest of OMG I feel like is just playing a different game. Going's died 5 times. He doesn't mind diving for a little bit of fun. If Going dives, it's going to bring an extra member over from Lemon Dogs, and it would mean the rest of OMG could push in, but actually OMG has other plans. Improvising here, Loveland has entered the base.
Well, of course, the Super Minions coming around. Nuke Duck's going to get locked up. Oh, he doesn't get quite popped. Big Pamelo does finally get himself a kill on the board. Tabs now comes out. Look at that, though. The spear comes back in, slammed in by Loveland, and Going comes in to pick up the prize, and that is the inhibitor turrets and the Nexus. Will he be focused on? Dexter tries to go aggressive, but he's going to take a couple of spears in the rear for the damage there. The rest of Lemon Dogs desperately trying to fight this one off.
Doesn't seem like they got a chance here, D-Man. It's 5 people pushing in. Both AD carries, therefore. Primary damage threats on Lemon Dogs are down. Headshot there, 4 kills. They might just go for it.
That's the Fountain Spears landing. Oh, another one finds its target on Dexter, keeping that poison ticking on towards him as well. Don't be surprised to see a couple more spears finishing out there, but Going and crew have been wrecking these turrets down. All the Nexus turrets go down. The Nexus will follow. It is a clean victory for OMG, keeping their perfect record intact.
14 kills to 7. They only gave up 1 turret the entire game. And even though they already had the group clinched up, that's one of the most impressive ways to kind of send a message to the rest of the world here. Just doing some very crazy things that we have not seen in competitive League of Legends, and then making it work against a team who was very clearly trying to win against it and is a top team from another region. That is incredibly impressive by OMG, what they've just done.
Well, it's what we talked about for SK Telecom. We said, let's see them win this in style.
Yeah.
OMG have just done that. That was style points to the max there. We saw the AD carry going with a Nidalee, throwing those spears out, getting a 500 AP Nidalee going on. We saw an AD carry Aatrox wrecking turrets down in seconds in that top lane. So full style points awarded to OMG there.
And that was also most of the world's introduction there to Loveland's Jungle York. Something that has actually drawn multiple bans, and he hasn't been able to bring out yet here at the World Championship. But the specific thing that was so effective for it in this game isn't his jungling at all. It's the fact that when he runs into a 1v2 lane, that 2v2 instantly swings in the favor of the 2v2 because blue buff York is too much to handle for non-sustained lanes.
And if you think back, it was Aatrox he was helping out, and that's what started that snowball rolling. So let's see what the guys over at the desk with Quickshot make of that interesting comp.
Thank you very much, D-Man. And for the sake of discussion here, I would like to officially classify the composition that we've just seen. Stick with me for a second, because Jat was highlighting it as a poke dive comp. I'm going to rename it as the OMG most annoying comp. And for multiple reasons. Yorick, you can't do a thing to him. You can't push him out of lane. You can't get through his sustain. He's going to revive somebody. Cassiopeia, poison, stun, CC slow. Vigar, Event Horizon, Nidalee spears. And in case all of that isn't enough, you have to kill Yorick twice just to bring him back to life. But, as fun as the composition was, if you actually break it down on a theoretical level, we quite liked it at the desk here. Let's kick this off with Crep.
Yeah, at first glance, you're like, oh my god, what they're doing. But if you look at it, all the points you've raised already, they have so much synergy between every single pick. They have heals for the Aatrox. Aatrox just dives in, knows he can go super hard, even if he gets revived by Yorick again, as you said already. But what I really liked was the siege potential they had. They basically had the Veigar cage, allowing for guaranteed poke with Nidalee spears, with Cassiopeia cage, and Cassiopeia follow-up rather. They had disengage with the cage being there. People could not charge through it, so they would have to flank them. If they would charge through it, they had to go through Cassiopeia as well. And yeah, imagine if Lemon Dogs actually had an AP, and then that would make Veigar's ulti even better than that. It's just if they survive the early game, they can get really good sieges off.
Yeah, that's the thing about it, though, is that as much internal synergy as this composition had for how creative it was, it still operates fundamentally on being ahead. And if they ever had fallen behind, because it only goes one direction, and that's into sieges, right? If they were trying to defend with this, it wouldn't have been quite so easy, because you want to use that event horizon next to a tower to really zone them off. But I think what was most scary about this game for me was if you look at OMG, they played the same style of aggressive forward zone heavy laning with these new champions. And they still crushed that. They still crushed through that laning phase and got that big advantage. And most impressive is that they played their dive style and they still knew their limits. They knew their limits on champions we don't see them playing. Yeah. And that is absolutely terrifying to other teams.
Yeah, these are very, very experienced players, and I would expect it coming in that OMG still plays OMG style, right? The controlled dives, and at the very least, and we talked about this a little bit, the jungle Yorick not being an obscure pick for this team. So some mix of comfort, some mix of new stuff. But then, yes, you talk about this comp having to work well ahead, but that's what OMG excels at. They, like 95% of the time, do get ahead early, and it's just a different way to close out the game.
And I really like random supports that Big Pomelo pulls out, like Annie and Vagar, because I feel like Zyra and Sona and Thresh, people know the limits of those champions really well, and it's easy to play around them. But like, if you're up against the Vygar and you're like 600 AP on, well, not this game, obviously, because they had double AD, but if you have a really strong AP carry late game, it's actually really strong. Like a 2.5-second AoE cage is pretty OP.
I was really interested to see what he would build on that, because looking at that, yeah, it might look at first glance a little bit of a troll pick, but it worked really well as a support, and he just did a standard support build, no AP needed. I think it would be really good against actual teams that run an AP carry, because Vagar's ulti is really so good against AP carries as well. I like what Event Horizon brings in teamfights. I just think you probably have to dodge the 2v2 matchups early, because in a 2v2 trade, I don't see how Vagar is gonna win out the trade unless you have a really favorable matchup in which your AD carry completely outranges or outtrades the other AD carry.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. And to sort of continue the topic of what you can do about this composition, assuming this continues to make it in competitive play. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, but it certainly had some legs here. And we were discussing the fact that you have, I think, two main recourses here against this composition, one of which being incredibly hard dive, something bigger than just Vi, maybe like Malphite Orianna, following up with support Annie, for example, things with heavy engage, or alternatively, heavy flanking, things like Twitch/Shen/Evelyn, right, and coming in behind the team, because the disengage is one-sided. Cassiopeia stuns one side of the fight, Vagar stuns one side of the fight, and then you have to start brawling.
I would actually love to see what Curse of the Sad Bullet Time would do against a composition like this.
Yeah.
That sounds like a mess. I'm visualizing that team fight, and
everywhere,
I think
boom,
everything just on top of one another. It's definitely a scary idea. Let's take a look at how the Group A standings have been affected coming into the final two games. OMG still undefeated at 7-0. SKT1 sitting 6-1. Lemon Dogs 3-5. TSM 2-5, and Gaming Gear at the bottom of the table 0-7. All right, we have 2 games left, and we've got to take a look at the analyst desk standings right now. The viewers continue to impress. 32-6 at the top of the table. Costers as well as Monty sitting in second place at a 30-8 record. And tied for what is effectively fourth place is Double Lift and Crepo. So catching up, Crepo's catching up.
Getting there, eventually. I'll learn about the game enough.
I'm glad we can finally teach you, Crepo.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, let's take a look forward and get your predictions for the next match. It is going to be TSM taking on Gaming Gear. Let's start with some Apple Pie Pride and kick us off with Double Lifts.
Yeah, I'm always down with the Apple Pie Pride. TSM all the way. They didn't play very well today, but quite frankly, I think they're better than Gaming Gear.
Strong cheers. Monte Cristo?
Yeah, TSM for me as well. I'll take the next hot slice of apple pie. And how about you, Crepo?
Yeah, TSM.
You really like saying that.
I love that, dude.
At every opportunity off camera that Crepo gets to go, TSM, he throws it out.
Why not? But yeah, on a serious note, they're probably better than Gaming Gear. They didn't have the best performance earlier, so I really think they want to prove that, hey, we're still relevant. We can do a good showing, and I think they're going to come in really hard against Gaming Gear.
Freak, closing it out?
Yeah, I agree with the TSM pick here. I think they are the favorite to win this. As we saw in the last game for these guys, Apple Pie was not as strong as Lemon Meringue, but As there's no real pie for gaming gear, I think DSM has a pretty good edge.
It has been a very long day, and I don't think you're allowed to do those anymore. I think I'm cutting you off. I'm cutting you off.
Only Crepo now?
We've got a little bit of time left before we jump into this game. This is going to be TSM's very last game at the Season 3 World Championships.
Same for gaming gear, right?
It is the same for gaming gear as well. Going to be their last game, but I just want to touch on the fact that we're in NA, we're a massive TSM, fan base watching. I actually feel like they impressed me in the group stages, and I'm going to pepper this by saying that even though they lost their games, I did actually expect them maybe not to perform quite as well. They traded fairly evenly with SKT, even with having Dyrus very far behind. We've seen they demolished Lemon Dogs the very first time they played. And I've actually been fairly impressed with how they've shown up on the world stage.
And they ran a pretty good first game against OMG as well. They really stretched out that one. They didn't get demolished in a way a lot of teams did by OMG. And I have to say, TSM impressed me as well. I didn't think they would be as strong as they were coming in, and they put up a pretty good fight.
And I really like the fact that when they played OMG and SKT, they never got stomped, really. I mean, they would have... Yeah, obviously they would lose, but it was never just a complete one-sided, just blow-away game. They actually rose up to the occasion, and they played really well for the expectations that we had.
What I like about them, they didn't play scared. They had respect for their opponents most of the time, and they just went for it. I like their conceptual play in early game as well. You could really see that TSM could actually teach a Korean team something about 3 versus 1 dives, which is really interesting for me. I like the way Wild Turtle came into the tournament. He played really solid. I think Corky coming up in this tournament was really good for him, and you could see that he was playing very, very confident.
Yeah, this particular event, we heard about it coming in. We made some jokes. This time, Dyrus and TSM, they had the sheets. They had the information, and they were talking about that they were more prepped for this event than I think many previous coming up to it, and they've shone well. I definitely think that Reginald silenced many people questioning his play. He really stepped up to the plate and actually traded in certain situations very, very well.
To the point where even Monte Cristo mistakes him for Faker once in a while.
Yeah, that's right. It just gets so muddled up in my brain now.
They are similar players. Yeah, Reggie actually still had a couple of shadows into a wall that didn't go anywhere. There was one of those in one of those team fights from TSM. But yeah, he held equal. Actually, he chunked out Faker, got ward control, and secured his team a dragon. These are plays most people can never say they'll ever do against one of the world's best mid laners. There have been legitimate good plays here by the individuals of TSM. They came close. They never quite sealed it, but you certainly got to consider them a strong team.
Now, I also want to highlight the other team that's going to be playing their very last match here at Worlds. It is going to be Gaming Gear, along with Mineski. These were the two heavy underdogs of the entire tournament. They've both gone 0-8, and what an experience, what a learning curve for these guys coming into an event like this. We do have to move along, but what do you think teams like Mineski and Gaming Gear can take away from the Season 3 Worlds?
I mean, I just talked to them outside right before this game, so they are in very good spirits. I said, buck up, you guys. This sets you up really nicely for the EU LCS qualifiers. You got tons of valuable experience playing teams all around the world. That doesn't happen that often in League of Legends anymore. There's so much they can take and absorb and work on those LCS qualifiers, but they weren't feeling too bad. They were mostly just having a good time.
Yeah, and these guys actually did a really good job of building themselves fans as well. The cheers for both these guys when they come out with picks that you don't see all the time, and keeping the smiles on their faces is a good way to get yourself a following for the next time you show up on the world stage.
Yeah, a few crazy Kaigu fans out there in the audience.
Oh, yeah.
All right, guys, let's move this one along. All week long, we've been asking you to head over bit.ly/worlds1 and answer a couple of questions to help us upgrade our future broadcasts. And today is no different. It's fun, it's easy, and it's Crepo Lift approved. All right, guys, we do have to jump to another advert break, but when we return, Gaming Gear EU has one more chance to pull off an upset and go home with at least one win at Worlds under their belt. But Reginald and Team Solar Mid might have something to say about that. I'm sure this audience will as well. Stick around, guys. The Season 3 World Championship. We'll be right back.